What's up everyone, welcome to the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. I'm Shades here. Joining me is OG the Lores Chicken as always. OG, what's up man? How's your weekend going?
Well, it's been great so far, Shade. We got a lot of games yesterday, which was really great to watch. And hey, let's hope that we have the same great day ahead of us today.
Yeah, we're going to be starting off with Giveaway Gods versus Inhuman Reactions. The map is going to be Overpass. Both these teams, relatively new teams to the scene, OG. They've had a pretty easy round one victory. What can we expect from this matchup?
Well, I got a chance to scout these teams a little ahead of time, so I'm expecting this first one to be a little bit of a landslide. I feel like the games ahead of us today, both these games, in fact, are going to be a few names that we really did not get to see that often, right? And that's been the gist of this tournament so far. We've been seeing a lot of new names even deeper into this bracket. In fact, we've seen a lot of newer teams, a lot of newer faces, and that's the exciting part of this tournament. Shade. We cannot predict where this tournament's gonna go, and hell, that's part of the excitement, isn't it?
Yeah, both these teams are going to be looking to make a name for themselves here today, exploring the unknown. And that is exactly what Dell Futurist is about. If you have a passion, Dell Futurist gives you the absolute best platform and the guidance you need to try and pursue a career in that road. So if you are looking to pick up a career in whether it is in gaming or arts, music, sustainability, do sign up with us on the Dell Futurist platform. And yeah, you never really know. You can probably end up pursuing a career in one of these fields. For now, though, it is time to jump straight into the match. OG, take it away.
Well, it's Overpass, a map that we are no strangers to as of yet, because damn, it seems like the teams in this tournament are loving it so far. It's been a really good start for Giveaway Gods, getting a good control towards the B side. Kami, the only player towards the side, mind you, is good for the first. Alpha, he gets the trade. Finn and Young are trying to retaliate, and there's a possibility that Finn could go for the boost, while YDN comes in from the back lines, the bomb getting planted, and YDN now forces the issue. Beautiful tap on unnamed, relieving control towards pillars, and making sure that the rest of Giveaway Gods have to get control towards short, as it's a 2 versus 3, but we've seen this on multiple occasions where the T-side could pull it back. Luckily, YDN in fact is on point, and Diffuse comes in the nick of time. Coder, he's gonna be getting the 2 frags as consolation, but the round it goes the other way. Giveaway God starting things off strong with the pistol. Inhuman reactions though, they did get that bomb plant, so they can just force right back in and try contesting for the equalizer.
First round on the board, Giveaway Gods strong on that B hold. They did have significant numbers there in place, and the backstab coming in through Monster also ensuring that Inhuman reactions weren't really able to turn things around. The pause plant looks like they're going to force buy into this OG, something that you don't really see all too often, and they've lost the numbers early on. Looks like they want to continue charging in towards the B sides, as they're going to lose a player there, but they do have a decent crossfire setup here. Kami, oh no, goes for the reload. Worst possible time. Weapons can be recovered here. YDN wins an absolutely crucial fight. Bring this down to a 2v2. Plant yet to go down. A minute remaining on the clock.
And YDN is forcing the issue. They're playing this very passive here, and Coda gets the frag on Finn. Could upgrade the weapon as well, which he does. Gets the Clarion. Are they gonna really do this? The long rotate to A? YDN has an inkling here as to what's up, but it seems like he's coming back. Questionable to say the very least, but he did put a doubt in the mind.
Well, it did work, right, at the end of the day.
Exactly. I mean, if it works, it works. That's the gist of CS, isn't it? Looks like now YDN has an inkling as to what's gonna happen, and with fast rotate, he might just stand a chance, but yeah, Devil's Way. Ooh. Alright, YDN wins out that fight. Unexpected to say the very least. Now Coder, almost even in terms of HP, but his position is still concealed and YDN stood no chance. A lot of angles to clear. And human reactions on the back of that pistol plant were able to force back and retaliate in kind. 1-1. Now it's going to be giveaway gods who potentially might force up. There we go. The Deagles are out. In fact, we saw this yesterday quite a bit, Shade, where the teams did prefer to force in, and on a couple of occasions, the force even did work. So there's no point in even trying to give a prediction here, because sometimes you just gotta favor the unthinkable, right?
Deagles out at mid. They'll take a nice look to maybe see if they can get a couple of frags early on. Looks like they're going to continue to stay up here towards toilets, and they will be offered a couple of looks here. YDN needs to go massive. He gets the opportunity, but this round is already going south here for the CTs. Pretty standard anti-eco, just a few Deagles in. Shouldn't really be able to achieve much. The backstab's watched for as well here by Unnamed, and should momentarily take it out. Young Zera, point blank range. C4 goes in first.
Yeah, he's done the first, and Pulse, he misses window. That is his shot to strike. It closes upon him. Devil ends up getting the frag. 2-1 Inhuman reactions. A really good round, right? Because they lost only one man in the form of Alpha, so their economy certainly has a bloom. Now, giveaway gods, they need to eco for the next 2 rounds, in fact, if they need to get a comfortable buy. Actually, they're on match round loss bonus, so it still would be. Sorry, they're not on match round loss bonus. It'll be the 3rd tick of the round loss bonus. So, on op is what I'm expecting to see now, Shade, because I feel like giveaway gods really need that early pick if they need to try and crunch Inhuman reactions numbers down.
Alright, the charge up through straight into the pistols is gonna hand over an AK. No charge coming in just yet. They have control, however, of connector, and they've sent the keys scurrying the other way. They pick up another AK for themselves and Finn here.
What's happening
This
here?
is a big fight. It's a big fight to win, and he does. It's just left all down to Unnamed, and guess what? He's got a Mac 10 versus 3 rifles, OG. This round just went head over heels.
Exactly why I said the previous round, Shade. There's no point of doubting the undoubtable, because it always ends up happening, doesn't it? The Mac 10, and he just gets swung. AK's up for the grab. This is something that we didn't expect coming into this game with Shade. Giveaway gods.
Not only do they win the pistol, OG, they recovered 4 rifles there that round.
Exactly.
Well, you don't need to be winning rounds in a trot to make money. I guess you can pretty much keep everyone alive, snatch your opponent's weapons as well. It works just as good. So, giveaway gods there. Inhuman reactions. The problem there was, I believe they expected the eco, but playing overconfident and charging in alone and not having the buddy system in place cost them pretty hard there. And the fact that they didn't readjust once they lost those initial couple of frags is pretty worrying if you're a Inhuman reactions fan right now. Though CT's fully in control of B short. They have 2 CTs in this direction, while all 5 Ts have grouped up here towards Monster, and looks like they're not going to spend a moment charging in, as a couple of CTs in position. One at short. Young Zera sprayed through the smoke while Kami is sitting on site. He spotted the foot out of one of the T's there, but the smoke's going in. The nades, however, will keep them at bay, but it's only going to be momentarily.
Yeah, Dalmatian does end up getting a frag, and now Pulse was having to do massive work. Easy for now, as Inhuman reaction, a little questionable on the push, right? They waited a little too long, even for my own comfort. There needs to be a little decisiveness when you hit towards B. You can't expect the first man to try and get that pick. Just wait for him. You need to be committed You need to make sure that you put that pressure on the CT side where they start to fumble, and that's where you get that advantage. That's why you force out those mistakes, and that's why you get the B side trade. You can't afford to be so lenient in your B hit, which is exactly what happened to Inhuman Reactions there. Maybe Inhuman Reactions turn with the pistol. Who knows, Shay? They can turn the ship around, but it's gonna be pretty hard considering the sail is already blowing hard the way of Giveaway Gods.
Finn does manage to get the opener. He's going to be offered another peek, but they know they have turned up in numbers here towards long. Finn is going to peek out aggressively. Looks like he wants to flash himself in yet again. Goes for the wise decision, doesn't peek out just yet. Instead, lets YungZera with the AK move across to peek. He goes down. They're cutting the distance down on Finn. He holds the angle, can't find it. The no scope, point blank range, gets it, gets the second there, and eventually makes up for those misses early. OG Giveaway Gods still continue to go strong here. 4-2, 4 consecutive rounds, but Inhuman Reactions will get the buy in AWP into the hands of Koda. Let's see if this changes things up a bit. In fact, it's moved its way all the way down to Devil's Weya. Utility, though, is going to take quite a hit here for the T's. They've got maybe one good execute in them, but that's pretty much it.
They have a PP Bison name, so that's just got to show how bad the economic quarrel is for the side of Inhuman Reactions. Kami knew exactly what was in show. Coder ends up going down early. Perhaps an upgrade for unnamed. Certainly possible. Giveaway Gods are capitalizing on the fact that Inhuman Reactions right now are spread so thin. Finally, they group up though, but with a minute left on the clock, I feel like this is something too little too late. The defensive utility still existed, although that frag is going to be massive towards B.
No.
And the PP actually ends up getting a kill. Now, the man disadvantage for Giveaway Gods as Inhuman Reactions, they have a lot of time and a decent bit of space to know what they want to do. Finn, he's buying bait here. He is gonna be buying bait for YungZera to strike at the perfect moment. With a clear, oh, the choke! It could be massive, but he's able to regain control and get a double frame return. 2 versus 2, but HP definitely in the favor of Giveaway Gods. YDN, the only player on the server with full HP, gonna be defending towards A long, and he spotted the head. He knows exactly what's up. Is he gonna go for the slicing dice? Nope. He just waits for YungZera to get into position. 5-2, Giveaway Gods. Quite the return in the first half, where we'd assume from the start Inhuman Reactions had this in the bag. This is just completely turned around, Shade. Giveaway Gods, with 5 rounds now on the CT side and their economy growing stronger by the minute, it's about time that Inhuman Reactions actually start a post response. And this Hero AK is... I'm not a big fan of the Hero AK, and I'll be honest why. Because it requires an absolute brilliant rifler on your roster to do that damage all by yourself, and a good support structure around it, which is hard to pull off. It's no joke, and it often will cost a man his rifle during the buy round, which you really do not want going in, especially in this matchup where it's not off to a great start as of yet, and these tough decisions might come back to hurt them a little later on in the half.
Kami, he expects the push to come in towards Connector, as Giveaway Gods have done quite a bit of noise here. He spots the first and he peeks straight into his downfall right there. However, CTs do have control of short right now. We have YungZera here, who's heard a lot of noise. The jump spot from Pulse. He's going to try the no scope.
And YungZera actually downs the bomb, and a man aggressive through shot to try and get the B-frag, but of no avail. YungZera, triple kill hole towards B. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We get a core as well. 6-2 Inhuman Reactions On the back of that hero, okay, they did next to nothing in terms of damage shade. This is what I was a little afraid of. Now with the buy coming in, it's gonna be unnamed, who mind you did buy the AK the round prior, and now down to a Mac 10. Utility is not looking all that great. They have a couple of Molotovs, but we've not really seen them put it to the best of use, right? Even the flashes they have, even while they commit towards B, we've not really seen the most effective flashbangs to try and deter giveaway gods on the peak. Another commitment here, perhaps? They've tried this B shot to push multiple times and calls on the retreat. They're trying to force the issue. They get the opener on a YDK. YungZera, he was on a killing spree the round prior. He needs to step up the round right now, but the nade is beautiful. YungZera now left also closing, but that's a bomb. That's not a bomb. Brought towards Wild Waters. They need to come and retrieve it. A team-man disadvantage, but still. Giveaway gods can't capitalize on the position of Inhuman reactions, exactly as said. Kami with a beautiful double as it's leaving all on the shoulders on a fin.
And the C4, look at where it is dropped, OG. And he lands the pre-shot as well. The push in.
He knows it. He knows exactly where Alpha is. And that is why you do not play with your own food, Shade.
The C4, man, there was no necessity to take the C4 towards Waters. I think they would just get carried away at that point of time. He pushed a little too far. If they had control of the C4, they get themselves a plant and they don't really have to risk the numbers there to take the fight to the CTs. Would have been a much easier round for Inhuman reactions, but instead they're gonna have to continue forcing up here as 7th round is now on the board for giveaway gods. The leg followed by the rifle to clean up. Tag
Just
team.
a maximum pain that could go in to a human. But Inhuman reactions are fast to their approach towards the A side. In fact, Devil Slayer is already towards drop. He's spotted out though. Just trying to conceal himself, and this is just turning out to be one hell of a carnage shade. The giveaway gods seem to be far superior to Inhuman reactions when it comes at least to the understanding of this map and how to take the aim builds on this map. So you've definitely got to give that to them. Inhuman reactions though, they've been getting a decent bit of rounds where they've found the opener, but they've not been able to close it out. That perhaps is a sign of inexperience and perhaps a sign where they can learn from this VOD and potentially try to overcome this sort of quarrel they're in right now. Because these small nuances will come to punish you if you do not try and pull them off. This is exactly what giveaway gods are doing. For example, if you flash towards mid, it's pretty hard for Finn to even get that pick. But it's a nuance to overpass, which you need to understand by playing that map a lot of times. A lot of things that Inhuman reactions can take away from this and learn, which I hope they appreciate. Because they have a decent bit of firepower on their roster, but they do lack that synergy when it comes to it being a team-based game, and that utility usage as well could be touched up upon just a little.
Right now, Inhuman reactions are falling behind thick and fast in this best of one elimination match. The spray is good, but the immediate retake is good on the second as well. They take individual fights there, one after the other. He has the C4, 49 seconds remaining. Does give them a way back into this, but Kami, he's got the jump. It's so hard heading out of that choke when your opponent knows that you're going to be heading that way. 9-2.
One thing that giveaway gods haven't even tried is the Molotov towards that choke point. You can throw Molotovs from outside bathrooms if you aim it properly over the chimney on top of connector. And it essentially just buys you either one less smoke on Inhuman reactions or that extra 10 seconds of that Molotov where you can set up towards mid. Giveaway gods, they've been on point so far. Inhuman reactions again in with the Hail Mary call. The rush towards B short. Kami a little confused and dazed. Molotov does extinguish as soon as it does hit the deck, and now Giveaway Gods finally with a disadvantage. YDM stops the bomb. This has been one thing that I really do not enjoy about Inhuman reactions is the way they're trying to play around objective. They're making it pretty evident where they're trying to hit, and the bomb is certainly not being as well protected as you'd like, right? Young Zera alongside Fenn shut things down towards B, and this is going to be double digits on the board for Giveaway Gods.
Yeah, there's no stopping Giveaway Gods right now. And Inhuman reactions, unfortunately, haven't really changed many things up. They need to call the timeout here if they are to somehow redeem this half back. But looks like they're just going to continue rolling with the punches. The buy comes in. Is not the best of buys by a long shot. And Giveaway Gods, they've barely been pushed so far after those first 2 rounds, OG. They've been more than comfortable just doing their defaults as it is. And by and large, Inhuman reactions haven't been able to do much about these opening duels that Giveaway Gods have been taking. And most of them have been towards this toilet and connector area, but that might just change here. They lose the opening duel for a change, and Pauls is in a lot of trouble. He needs to head out, and he needs to head out fast.
There needs to be rotations towards the A side because it's all left on Akami to try and fend off. They are watching towards connector as well. Inhuman gets yet another Akami. He's only good for the first. YDN a little hesitant on the rotation as Finn comes all the way back from T-base. Actually up connector. He's gonna make the flank towards long, which will take Coder off guard. YDN needs to get 1 frag here at least. He is good on his promise, and Finn coming in from the backline will thin out the numbers, making this a short round perhaps for Inhuman reactions. Is it gonna be the stick? Is the question. YDN needs to come up absolutely massive.
Ooh, he does connect in on the second one there, but the M4. If there was an AK headshot, that is it. He'd have pulled off a 1v2 at the end, but Inhuman reactions surprisingly do exactly what we expected them to there, OG. They turn up with the numbers. They knew for a fact the CTs always have presence towards toilets as well as connector, at least one. So they just turn up with the numbers, overwhelm them one after the other. They win the opening 2 duels, and this again is a big mistake. The Opera has been holding that angle by and large for the majority of this half, and they shouldn't really be peaking that without sufficient utility.
Exactly. Now with the flash towards long, Finn is essentially relegating his safety to Kami, who peeks wide and gets paid the relevant price for it. Finn, with the smoke, he has a little bit of safety, but it also brings a sense of uncomfort. Tries to dodge the bullets, but Alpha a little too wild on the spray. Beautiful job on the clear. Alright, now we have something to work with here. The calling the hit towards B, and YDN will be able to perhaps call for quick rotations as he will hear everybody come out from the connector. The Pulse is going to be rotating with the off towards heaven, and there's no smoke to even try and deter him. In fact, he's going to come through completely. YDN needs to hold for just a little longer, and he drops the bomb yet again, Shade. How? How does he do this? Again, Coder goes down. YDN stepping up massively and getting 3 kills towards the B side. Swayer, he's so low on HP. It seems almost undoable here. 17 seconds left on the clock, and he needs to force the issue right here, right now. YDN watches towards short while Dalmatian watches and covers towards long. Even a 2 versus 4 shade when they got off to such a beautiful start, they still end up giving the round away, again due to poor utility and objective management.
That was just the one player. There were 1v4 on that B site, and they just offer themselves one after the other. something as simple as peeking from short and monster simultaneously would have ensured that even if they lose one, they had the trade in place, but instead they just give away a round to GiveAway Gods here. 11-3, last round of the first half. Seems like they're not going to change things up too much. They're going to head back out towards the B side. There's trouble written all over it. They're just cleaning them up one after the other. And final round pretty much continues the trend in this first half, with GiveAway Gods comfortably able to hold on to the sites. They've always shown numbers towards B, having 3 players more or less towards that site while they play 2A aggressively. I think that is the difference so far on the CT side. The fact that GiveAway Gods have held A aggressively almost every single round. They've shown presence towards connector, presence towards toilets, haven't been too scared attacking A long on occasions as well, and almost every single time they've walked away with those frags early in the round, and Inhuman reactions have been forced to adjust for the majority of that first half. Let's see with the side change if Inhuman reactions can post a stellar CT side themselves. At least for now, it's Devil Player alone towards the A side, and he's got company. Coda is playing all the way back from Bank. So the peak here is going to be everything from Pulse. Will he be offered a duel? No. Oh, he does. And he's doing good work here. He's just causing the backstab while the push is in towards the B side. They have full control, OG.
Yeah,
this is looking
it does
rough.
seem like that. That's pretty rough, Sheik. Pretty rough. 13-3 Inhuman reactions. Certainly not coming into this matchup with the expectations they have set. I feel like it also comes down to the map, right? We see them a little confused here on Overpass. They do understand how to clear a couple of these angles and whatnot, but in the grander scheme of things, things like utility, things like rotations and punish are stuff which comes over time and over practice, right? Which it seems like Inhuman reactions have come a little short on. GiveAway Gods. For now, they're certainly looking really good in this matchup. Let's see how far they can continue this. Devil with a nade should be able to down Young, and beautiful stuff. Coder, Deagle up close. Finn with a Mac 10 drive-by as he continues his killing spree. Pulse. He was instrumental in the pistol towards the A side, and he could be instrumental yet again. Spots that back, and that is just done and dusted for Swayer. He's all that remains. A 1 versus 4 with the MP9. Perhaps the silver lining here is Finn, Pulse, and Kami are relatively low. If he does pick up an AK, it's doable, but he's looking the wrong way, and he's going to go down for it. Finn with the Mac 10. Easy drive-by. 14-3. GiveAway Gods certainly posting huge numbers here, and they are looking to be in the driver's seat. When they go up against equal opposition to them, Shay, that's when things will get really interesting. That's when I'm interested to see what GiveAway Gods have to offer in the table.
14-3, the fourth buy comes in for Inhuman reactions, but it might just be one last attempt of finding a way back into this match, OG. The push in through short does have quite a bit of power behind it, but they lose the early numbers. Unnamed, big fight, but the trade again is always spot on. Alpha gets outnumbered. That is exactly what Inhuman reactions should have been doing, right? In the first place.
Yeah, that's something we didn't see from Inhuman reactions throughout the entirety of the first half.
They've been offering fights one after the other, peeking in one by one, something that GiveAway Gods haven't been at fault for with whatever little they have played in this T side of theirs. I think that's a good takeaway for the side of Inhuman reactions here in this match. They can walk away with their heads held high. There's a decent bit of learning to be had as well. back to the drawing board. Quite a bit to practice out as well. And young Zera, Devil has no idea. I'm sure he's heard the door open.
Yeah. And now with the crunch to its connector, he should be going down. Finn, on 10 HP but still alive. And that's just the cleanup crew in fruition shade. A 4 versus 3 Scoter. The only one who could potentially put a stop to this round, but he's put a stop himself. Unnamed, the last survivor of this onslaught, as Giveaway Gods look to knock Inhuman reactions out of the tournament. And in what a fashion as well, right? 16-3. A very, very dominant showing here from Giveaway Gods on Overpass. I really love to see more of Overpass into the mix here, Shade. I feel like with most of the teams here, maps like Mirage and Inferno alongside Dust2 would be that comfort zone. So seeing teams explore a little outside that comfort zone would be a real delight to watch, to see how adaptable these teams are, right? Because it doesn't matter how good you are on, let's say, 1 or 2 maps. It matters on how good you are on a consistent basis across several factors in the game, which is the hallmark of a really good team. And that's what we're looking for here. Really good teams, but we're getting a lot of really good unknown names as well, which is a delight to watch it. And I'm excited to see how this team proceeds further throughout the tournament.
Yeah, a lot of new faces trying to make a name for themselves. Congratulations, Giveaway Gods. A very strong showing here. They are easily able to take down Inhuman reactions and move on to the round of 32 here in the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. For all the gamers who are tuning in, if you're looking to take up your passion with gaming to a next level and pursue a career in it, Dell Futurist is the absolute best platform. Don't forget to sign up with us. There's a lot of mentor sessions available online as well on the Dell India and Alienware socials. Do check them out. For now though, this is Shade Slayer as well as OG. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly with more CSGO action on this amazing Sunday. Don't go anywhere. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. I'm Shadslayer. As always, joining me is OG, the low rest chicken. What's up, OG? Another game beckons. This time we have AllstaRRs going up against Mighty, a team that we did see previously in the round of 128 predictions.
I feel like Mighty have this one in the bag just due to the fact that we've seen them before. I understand what kind of game plan they're coming in, so I just slightly have to favor them in this matchup. We did see them come down to the wire actually previously in this tournament, 16-12 in fact, with them having a couple of ridiculous plays put against them for the matter of fact, but they were still able to regain control, which is a good sign. And I'm excited to see Shade. We have been waiting for matchups like these, close matchups in fact. Both these teams are dead even when it comes down to the skill, and it's all going to come down to the wire like it did come in the game prior.
Yeah, again, relatively two new teams going up against each other in the round of 64. For all the viewers who are tuning in, if you're interested in pursuing a career in one of your fields of passion, whether it is gaming, arts, music, or sustainability, Dell Futurist is the absolute best platform, which enables you to convert your passion into a career down the line. Do sign up with us for the Dell Futurist program. You can also check out mentoring sessions that are available on the social channels for career or paths that you can take in the field of gaming and esports. That being said, there's also a couple of new laptops that are coming out this week. One being an Alienware laptop and the second a Dell Gaming G series laptop. So if you're looking for more information on that, do check out the Dell India and Alienware socials for more information. With that, I believe we are just about getting set for the start of this matchup. OG's predicted that Mighty is going to take this. I'm going to go the other way and show my support to AllstaRRs who we've not seen so far. But a couple of those names I have heard previously. Mango, Alpha, I have seen them in a few tournaments, but I haven't really seen this playing five. Regardless, I do believe it's going to be a close affair because it is Dust 2, a map that is pretty much very less in terms of being strategy intensive, but more in terms of a lot of straight up brawls. That being said, we're ready for the match. Let's jump straight into the action. OG, it's all yours.
Well, Dust 2, you could not give a more perfect introduction here, Shade. It's all going to come down to who has the better end of both support and firepower, which in my eyes, it might be Mighty, but I'm ready to be proven wrong. Well, to start things off with, they have a decent bit of utility to go alongside. 3 flashes, in fact, alongside a smoke and a P250 on a SD. AllstaRRs. They're playing this one more of a default. They have control towards long. They're playing passive towards A, where if the site does get hit, Blur would be more than comfortable to give up control of the site and try playing retake on the back of his diffuse kit. So far, Mighty not contested in their A hit as of yet. Blur trying to peek in just a teeny bit to see if he can get any kind of damage done, where Alpha alongside his buddies are able to pull off a flurry of frags, boiling this down at 2 versus 4. 2 men coming in from long, 2 men coming in from short. It is a plant towards short as well, so they're trying to get a close plant here. A pretty strong afterplay. Oh no, Hitman! Choke! Yeah. You really need a refreshment after that. Joy. Boy. Even he's got to be feeling a little questionable, right? He's like, why is this guy pulling off the knife against me? What's happening here?
Well, he decides to switch the pistol up at the worst possible time. And AllstaRRs, they did miss a lot of shots on the T entry. They had to give up the site, but falling back, instead of just going for the plant and maybe go for a short plant, set up safely, they decide to take the fight towards long and end up giving away 3 frags before the pulse plant even kicks in, and that almost always ends up with you on the wrong side of the round, OG. Now, looks like it's going to be a fast B hit. They're just going to
Yeah.
play the thing slow. They have the one smoke, the one flashbang primed and ready for this. Joy getting ready with the smoke. The flash is good. They're going to go charging through. Joy has got them
Yeah.
all in his crosshair. Pulls out the USP, gets the 4K.
And the pain train gets derailed. 2-0, Mighty. Not off to a mighty good start here, but they have a chance of a surge. No bomb plan, which means they certainly cannot invest into an AWP without helmet, but hey, they're not even looking that direction. No AWP, period. So far, we've seen a good start for AllstaRRs, especially with the previous round being clinical. They don't risk a chance in having an economy problem early on. They do have 4 rifles invested in though, so they could go toe to toe with Mighty, but they need to do it in a very smart and intuitive way. Control for now taken towards long, and leaving the MP9 to anchor here would be the right call to make if it's going to be in a position which is close quarters. Now with the rotation over to its CT, they're trying to spread the defense as wide as possible, right? They want that early kill and they want to try and disengage on the back of that. Mighty, they've been good not to give away that early frag thus far. Slow control is the game that they're going in with a minute left on the clock. Now that they're going to get control towards A shot as well, they'll have a lot of avenues open up to them. In fact, I remember in one of the previous games in this very tournament, we've had very creative executes and us too. For example, that mid to be fake with a man jumping down from A short to deal with the guy at CT. Things like that are what perhaps could propel Mighty forward, but this early frag and the bait and switch is perfect. Could have gotten the spray down here, but Strong not as strong on his spray. Now they realize that the rotation towards B has been cut off, so they're trying to perhaps hit the side, which is relatively weak. But Joy, such heads up play to play aggressively towards tunnels. He knew that it's gonna be the hit towards door and tunnels that's gonna come in, so he needed to focus in one direction. And boy, he did that to perfection. 3-0 AllstaRRs off with a brilliant start, and you might just have a little grin on your face after that prediction coming in shade. I thought Mighty were the clear favorites headed into this one, in all honesty, but it seems like AllstaRRs are out to prove me wrong.
Yeah, I have a big grin on my face, OG. AllstaRRs. Joy has been a monster so far. 8-0 in the first 3 rounds. I think that's pretty self-explanatory there, OG. They're pushing in towards long. The numbers is key. They whiff on the first spray, but the second player has done enough. The AWP has chimed in as well. And this ape rush towards
But the
long.
bomb towards B. But the bomb's going towards B. If Joy goes down here, it could be the bomb plant and a 2 versus 2 post plant. I'm not sure if Joy knows, but there's a man who's stuck in. Hit man with that deagle. Off goes the weasel. 3-0, but Mighty finally gonna be in with the bomb plant. Not sure what's happening
Oh
with Vikas.
no,
Hopefully,
Vikas has
oh,
lagged
boy.
out. And that
And
has
it's a
brought it down
1v2
to a
in the B side.
1v2. This is gonna be so much harder right now, OG. How's he gonna check the corner? The shots have come in. He gives away his position, and that's first round on the board for Mighty. Came down to Joy there, having to win that 1v1. Unfortunately, the Deagle prevails. And if Vikas was probably still in the server, they might have had a chance there. But with the crossfire set up, the push through window, the initial fight was going to be so hard to win without him going down as well. 3-1 AllstaRRs. They still have decent bit of money to invest back in Blur. Sitting on $6,400, I think, can drop over SMG to Mangu here and still have good utility invested in.
That gotta be feeling a little gutted, right? With such a great start coming in from AllstaRRs, having that DC to be the reason why you give away that first round. It's a little heartbreaking, not gonna lie, but they've done a really decent job with their economy where they could reinvest. it's obviously going to be a little harder for Mangu and Vikas because they might need a downgrade to potential MP9s or even Mag 7s for that fact if they want to go kit utility as well. So far, Mighty coming in with that Hail Mary round, but not something they can do on a consistent basis is something that worries me just a teeny bit. Do you think that Dust 2 was the best veto here coming into this matchup? Because we've seen both these teams, right? At least we've seen Mighty so far. They have really good team play. Their firepower seems to be really good. ST, in fact, was what we'd consider the MVP of the game they had prior, right? 30 kills. No joke whatsoever on Inferno. I feel like if they went for a map like Mirage where they could play around with the rotations just a teeny bit more, it would have been a more favorable matchup for Mighty. But with this Dust 2 veto, it seems like AllstaRRs have come in more than prepared.
Yep. I think it's a question of whether you want to rely on firepower or your team play that eventually decides, like you said, whether you want to play maps like Dust 2 or instead maps like Inferno. And that is even without touching the not so popular maps in Nuke, Vertigo, and even Train to an extent. So Mighty, having left Dust 2 in the pool means that this is a comfort pick for them as well, and it does offer opportunities for ST to also go ahead and do his thing, even if his team isn't having the greatest of days. While AllstaRRs, they're the ones who started off strong. Joy has been having pretty much the best start I think he could possibly have expected out of this one. The 4K in the round 2. Yes, it was up against pistols, but he still gets the job done in that B site. But that one eventual miss that he had in that duel actually ends up costing them an entire round itself. Looks like we do have the players reconnecting in. Maybe a couple of tech issues still being sorted out. But from what we've seen so far, AllstaRRs shouldn't really let that one isolated round bother them as much. But Mighty are coming in with the big guns here this time around. They've got themselves the AWP as well onto ST.
And we might see the first eye to eye as well, Sheikh, because AllstaRRs are not shy in cash whatsoever. Although they do need to make a pretty tough decision right now. Coming in with today's game shade, especially this game, I'm expecting it to go really, really close. Both these teams, they're almost up there when it comes to the skill level, where there is just barely any room for error. It's not going to be the team who's more perfect. It's going to be the team who has the least imperfections, right? Because we've seen on multiple occasions where these games more or less relies on you not knowing one factor which the other team can completely capitalize upon. It was shown in the game prior where there were a lot of factors which the CT side were aware of, and it was just a dominating game. Whereas it's going to be completely different in the scenario. Much of these T-side rounds for Mighty should be predicated on early map control, which they've been slow to initially, but I feel like now is where they might want to turn up the pace a notch. They realize that AllstaRRs are trying to play a little aggressive when it comes to map control, especially towards A long. What we often see teams do on the T side is have a smoke deployed to its Xbox, two flashes to its door, make a quick run for your money, and try to hit the A side. Try and getting an entry for that matter of fact. We've seen players who are more than willing to peek both towards mid doors and have the jump down from A shot to CT to try and get that pincer in and really put a lot of pressure on that CT defense. Perhaps a couple of things that we could expect to see Mighty doing in a couple of rounds forth. And in this round, we can expect to see them do a couple of these things as well, Sheikh, because they'll have a lot of utility to play around with. It's going to be AllstaRRs, in fact, who might be a little low on the utility end if they want to invest into this round.
I'm just getting word that one of the players from AllstaRRs just had a power cut and unfortunately can't continue on. So they're going to be bringing in a substitute in his place. So we're going to take a quick break. When we are back, we'll see if AllstaRRs can continue with this amazing start that they've had and secure their spot in the round of 32. So don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is time to jump straight back into the action. We have the reconnect coming back in, and AllstaRRs did get off to a hot start, but eventually Mighty able to pull one back on the back of switching up their attack, catching one of the CTs off guard at the B site. And the unfortunate disconnect didn't really help in that regard as well for AllstaRRs, but for now.
I like the setup towards short though. It's anti-flash played by Mangu while Blur plays contact. Tank gonna be walking right into his crosshair, and now Mangu's ready. He's still committed to the anti-flash, and now he might be a second too late. Should have tried and turned face alpha. The flash is perfect. Cracker lands a Hitman actually lands a cracker of a short. Now it's a 2 versus 4 out of nowhere, Shade. Mighty seems right back in this game. Perhaps that timeout allowed them to recompose themselves and get back in their groove.
Yep, the setup towards short was spot on in theory, but lacking a little bit of execution there for that second frag. They gave away 3 frags in total for no return on the A side, and Mighty is going to be picking up the second round on the board. Money is gone for AllstaRRs. They need to hang on to these rifles to be able to challenge up even a little bit in the next round to take Dastan down, and I believe that should be the end of that chase from ST. With that, AWP is not going to be challenging this. 3-2.
Mighty, even though they won the previous round, their economy is not all that great, Shade. It's only Cracker, in fact, who has a lot of money to dispose of. Something that they should certainly build on, because we've seen so many of these rounds, right, where it's just a couple of deagles. In fact, we did see one right in this very game, where it's just pistols up against you, but you still end up having either a lot of casualties or you just straight up end up losing the round. Something that Mighty should definitely try and capitalize upon at this moment. And we seem to have another disconnect from also. Let's hope that it's not going to be as dire of a situation as it was prior. Maybe just a minor bug. Who knows? Maybe he has to restart. Regardless,
So it's
Mighty...
the same player who had power issues.
There we go. He's back. Wait. Okay. I mean, he's just playing with us at this moment. But let's hope that he could play the game as well, because his team certainly seems to have lost that momentum and that positivity he brings in. 3-3, Mighty are right back in it to win a trade. We doubted them early where AllstaRRs got off to a fly start, but this just proves to show that momentum plays that huge factor that we keep talking about, Shade. And right now, it does favor Mighty.
AllstaRRs, they've used up all their tech pause time, so they're gonna have to expend tactical timeouts here as well to try and buy additional time for Vikas to find his way back into the server, else they're gonna have to play with the man disadvantage. Mighty have shown us already, OG, even 5v5, they're more than ready for this fight. The numbers disadvantage on AllstaRRs could just send them in a downward spiral real quick.
Real quick, Shade, because Mighty, they have a couple of monsters on their side. ST, in fact, has been above and beyond in the game's prior, but he's not got off to that great of a start just yet. 0-0-4, in fact, is the score that he is in with. So let's hope that he gets back in. But that's the beautiful part of CS, right? You do not always need to be the guy who's going out in terms of fragging. You can be in the back. You can try and support. You can try getting the refrag. You can set up your teammates to try and get that frag. In fact, where in a couple of games, you just had that feel, right? So you want to facilitate the player who's in their zone, and you want to try giving him as best of an experience as he could. Because at the end of the day, the player who's feeling it will be a little more fluid in the way he is trying to approach the game than you would. And that certainly will take you a long way. That's something that countless hours of warm up, countless hours of anti strat can't accumulate up to. It's just Mighty having a good start in the previous game, but not been the case so far in this. Now they were tested and they replied in kind. 3-3 as they come close, as they come towards the equalizer, and now they're ready to take this a step ahead.
Yeah, all the timeouts completed here for AllstaRRs. They have nothing much left in the kitty now. They're gonna have to continue this with the numbers disadvantage.
Wait,
And-
a Mighty is 4v4?
Nah, the Mighty is gonna call a timeout as well. Not sure if that was. It would be a very good show of sportsmanship if they decide to use their timeouts as well to try and buy some time to get Vikas into the server. But it does look like Mighty have lost a player themselves. Hopefully, it's not down to a 4v4 at the end of the day, but this is a good opportunity for the T's here. They've started with quite a bit of momentum here. They're able to swing things around back in their favor. 3 consecutive rounds now on the trot after losing the first 3. They're in a very good position to quickly escalate this into a comfortable lead in this first half if AllstaRRs are unable to bring their 5th in.
Looking at this from a strategic point, Mighty would have an advantage if they played this a 4 versus 4, but I'm not sure if this is sportsmanship, but I always like to assume that it is. So kudos to Mighty for, even despite having this advantage of a 4 versus 4, where it does obviously favor the T side, right? With the defense being spread thin, they can just use their numbers to their advantage and perhaps just rush down with them holding down mouse 1. It would be fairly easier to pull a 4 versus 4 off on the T side than on the CT side. Because on the CT side, you need to account for rotations, you need to account for utility, you need to account for buddy system to get the refrag. There's a lot of more complicated aspects to it on the CT side than on the T side. So kudos to Mighty for trying, if you may, to be sportsman-like, which it certainly seems like they are. It definitely does favor AllstaRRs a little bit, right? They get a little more time to perhaps pray and hope that Vikas does come back. And Mighty, they're going to be right back in it. They have a lot of money built up, Shade. The few rounds that they did win in succession, they did it in such a way that their economy now is going to be really strong. Even if AllstaRRs have a chance to come back in this game, they need to do it against what I'd consider overwhelming odds, because they need to string 2 to 3 rounds in back-to-back succession, or it's going to be Mighty who are going to be able to reply in kind.
It is OG. Right now, though, a huge shout out to Dell Futurist for making this tournament possible. For all the gamers tuning in, if you're looking to convert your passion for gaming into a career, Dell Futurist is the absolute best platform. Go ahead and sign up with us for more opportunities and guidance in that regard. There's also a couple of mentor sessions that are available on the Dell India and Alienware social channels. Do check it out if you're looking at various opportunities in the field of gaming and esports. There's also a brand new Alienware and Dell Gaming G Series laptop coming out this week. So all you laptop enthusiasts, do follow the social channels for updates on that. Shadesir and OG, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back shortly, just as the final player from Mighty is able to join back into the server. We do see, in fact, a player from AllstaRRs joining in. So I guess this was a blessing in disguise eventually for the CTs here. They get their 5th in. But looks like it is Mighty whom we'll have to wait on to get their last player in. So don't go anywhere. Be right back. All right, we're back with it. That was a short break, but does look like the fifth player from Mighty connects in, but Vikasa's stay was short-lived on the CT side. They're going to have to continue with the man disadvantage at least for this round. A pretty standard expected change. They're going to go 2-2. But having the numbers disadvantage on CT is just ridiculously hard, isn't it, OG?
In fact, this shade, the defense will be spread very thin. It's going to be a lot onto these individual players stepping up. And that's really not what CS is about, right? It's about the team dynamic to it. It's about how you play together. And he's done good to start this round off. It's actually Blur who's done good to start this round off on the right foot. But Alpha, he goes down immediately. Blur tracing through the smoke, not able to find the kill just yet. The flash allows them to recompose, not commit one by one. And they have a good inkling as to where Blur could be hidden. Tracker wise to the safe plan. Blur still making this a very doable round for AllstaRRs. They started off with the man disadvantage, but it boils down to a 2 versus 3. Joy, 2 players stacked desperately low, but nothing he could do out of the situation. 4-3, AllstaRRs slowly starting to lose ground in the first half. So far, I'd say that Mighty should. Alright, I love this. This is what we talked about, Jade. This is sportsmanship at its very best. Mighty now using that timeouts to perhaps help AllstaRRs get in that last man in the server. You just gotta love to see this, right, Jade? Regardless how much of a good player you aspire to be, a good human is much more valuable, and being a sportsman is a part of that experience. So huge kudos to Mighty to be as sportsmanlike as possible. They call that timeout, giving AllstaRRs a little extra time to perhaps try and bring back the cause. But for now, it's still gonna be a 5 versus 4 though.
And the money is pretty much broke on the side of the CTs. They're going to have to eco this one out. They're just going to go with the numbers towards long and pray for the best. AWP missing a sitter there.
Yeah, and it's actually on the foot. Alright. Magway actually ends up fighting too, but it's still a 1 versus 3. Regardless how much you do, it's going to require a lot of luck to even pull off a couple of rounds in this disadvantage. Joy, certainly not in the most joyful of positions. Might just have to save his P250. 5-3 nonetheless. And AllstaRRs.
It is unfortunate, right?
Yeah, that's how they came in with. Not gonna be worth as much now.
Well, it is always time for a little bit of soccer in your lives in this relaxing Sunday, right? You want to all go.
Cancelled, so Joy is giving us the experience that we deserve.
Yep.
Let's go, Joy. It seems like he lost the enthusiasm for FIFA as soon as it got cancelled as well. He's just gonna be relaxing, waiting for the taxi to come. Nonetheless, 3-5, Mighty. Hey, AllstaRRs, because was able to reconnect Shade. We are back in it, 5 versus 5, AllstaRRs. It's not lights out just yet.
Yeah, they've lost 2 rounds in that ordeal, but I guess it could have been worse. Let's hope he is able to stick inside the server for the remainder of this match. They're going to challenge back again towards long, but this time it is with the numbers. They're ready to take this fight.
A lot of early utility disposed of by the CT side. Now, they have no Molotovs left, Shade. In fact, it's 3 smokes and it's only a minute 34 into the round. So a lot of defensive utility used by AllstaRRs to try and gain real estate towards long. Do you think that's a little too much though, considering, oh boy, they used up 2 smokes towards long And now Vikas is the only one with any defensive utility left. Mighty. Look at the amount of utility they have left on board, Shade. This is turning out to be a little questionable start to the CT side for AllstaRRs. Because Mighty, they've done a real good job at both keeping the utility up and boiling the time down. Now, if there's any rush committed, if there's any engagements that need to be isolated, they don't have a smoke to do that with. They don't even have a Molotov to try and fend off the numbers that might crumble upon them at any moment.
There's a strong crossfire setup as well towards mid to B, but instead it's going to be the T's lining up for this A hit. They have one player towards long, 4 towards short. In comes the execute. Alpha holds the angle down. Blur does so as well. Dastan gets the opener, and that is going to send them from mid to B here. It's going to be on to Mango if he can isolate this fight. Joy is going to be left with an all to do, all alone inside. They check the corner and he whiffs the initial shot. That's a big miss there, OG.
Yeah, and there is enough time to get the bomb planted. Just about, though. Mango did come up with a massive play, but that was the time I feel like Joy should have struck from car, because the distraction was already being caught, right? They had that one moment where there was that slight panic in the communication for Mighty. If they were able to use it to the max advantage, perhaps you could see more out of this round, but it's going to be lights out for now. The B side, there's no way in hell that they even try to think of this a 2v3 retake. They're rightfully gonna be on the save, and that's gonna extend the lead for Mighty 6-3, and this is turning out to be quite the T side that Mighty have posted up now.
Yep, things going south real fast for AllstaRRs. They managed to hold on to the 2 AUGs that round, but that mid to be hit should have at least had a few casualties for Mighty. There is the perfect opportunity for Joy. I think it was a question of him getting caught in that decision-making process on whether to go for the trigger discipline or to pull the trigger right away, and eventually unable to commit to a decision costs AllstaRRs the B side to end the round eventually. 3-6. They do have the money to force into this one. They're already down to just mere flashbangs only, OG.
A Molotov of the cast, that's the only defensive utility that they do have. Look at the amount of utility Mighty have been patient with. This is such disciplined play, right? Initially, I've noticed that AllstaRRs are whiffing some of the defensive utility initially as well. There's a lot of things that AllstaRRs could learn, especially on Dust 2 in terms of utility, but I hope that they do rewatch this war and see where they're going wrong. Because White Swing did not even use that Molotov, ends up going down. Joy giving away his position, tries to spray them down to his tunnel. He does a decent bit of damage, and then he misses a shot, and this has just turned from a decent and doable round to a nightmare, Shade, where they came off with an amazing start. That disconnect might have just been what sent them packing.
Yeah, they seem to have lost their way despite having the 5th man in the server now. It was a pretty easy hit there. There's just a lone CT holding that push from mid to B. Primarily because AllstaRRs, we've seen them do this previously, commit 2 players early in towards short, and they were playing that trade aggressively towards that part of the map. Unfortunately, Mighty decide to hit mid to be quick at the perfect time. A couple of kills go the way of Blur. Vatseed eventually able to take at least one of the 2 rifles away from AllstaRRs.
And that was, yeah, exactly. Right now, with that rifle missing, they'll have a pretty iffy decision. If that rifle was up shade, it could have been possible for them to have a significantly better buy with more utility. But again, utility is not the concern here. It's the use of it. We've not seen AllstaRRs use the defensive utility to the max potential that it has. Especially when these pushes are coming in, it's not been the case where the defensive utility has been what's winning them out the rounds. It's more like the individual duels, which even now are not going in their favor. The man disadvantaged Shade. If things could not get any bad, it just got worse. Cracker holding the peak in case it is gonna come on through the boost. Given to Blur as he has the op. Beautiful shot to take C down. Mind you, that is the bomb. So a little bit of information given away. Blur, is he gonna go massive? Beautiful second shot. The op chiming in and finally delivering the impact that is required perhaps to push Almighty to the brink of destruction. He still holds the angle here as rotations come in from Vikas towards CT. Peak. Ooh! Damn! That's narrow. That's dirty. Lastan, nice shot. Tank. The distraction was the perfect moment to take Strong down. If there's anything that... Is there anything that you think AllstaRRs need to do right now to try and get control of the game again?
They get the 2 frags in, unnecessary fights first. There is no reason to further force the issue at that point of time. They could have just sat back and let the T's call the shots, but instead, peeking in one by one, they've given this opportunity back across. It's almost an impossible ask at the moment.
Yeah,
Joy.
the bomb planet drops the box, and he knows it as well. He saves the op that that Blur used to as much as he could, right? You can't even blame it on a Blur as a matter of fact, because he got those 2 kills. But what he could have done thereafter is try to aggress to a different avenue. You know that you got the kills towards long. Yeah, there might be another play towards long. Why not just relinquish control of the A side? Perhaps try pushing A short, because there's no way in hell that you can reclaim long after the T's have jumped down pit, right? Because there's always going to be that blind spot you need to worry about, and it's a very wide blind spot, which is not that easy to cover, especially at range. So a lot of things that AllstaRRs could have done differently that round. Sadly, we didn't see them do much. Now, it's going to be Mighty potentially hitting double digits if they're able to close this round out, as AllstaRRs have invested down at the last penny.
Yep, they've spent everything in the bank here into this round. A 2-3 split, pretty standard again. 2 players towards short. They're continuing to do this every single time, OG. Regardless of the situation they're in. But the early pick off there towards long onto ST, I think it's going to change the balance up a bit. They still have 2 players committed towards short, so it's going to be all on to Vikas here alone towards mid to B. If he goes down, this is pretty much it. Exactly the case again.
Joy's in a
Joy.
good position. That's the bomb. Oh, that could have been an absolutely vital fight for him to win. Ooh, how unlucky could he get, Shay? Both Harmful and Crackle left with the slither of HP, but through the smoke, Alpha, he finds the frag on a Harmful. A 2 versus 3. With Crackle being so low, him having the op is the best choice ever. Molotov atop the window. Cracker dodging the flash. The Molotov deep, but it doesn't touch him. This is where the pressure starts to hit Shade. Cracker needs to land this shot. The smoke buys a little bit of room for the player towards tunnel to push, and now Cracker being put under a lot of pressure. The defuse tap tries to go massive, but he ends up showing himself. AllstaRRs. It is a roller coaster of a round, but they end up winning it out. Mighty, they have a really good economy, so they really do not even need to sweat. In fact, it's AllstaRRs who have a lot of work left to do before the half does die out.
It was surprising there, the amount of shots I've missed on the AWP on the hole there post plant allows AllstaRRs to cut the distance down in that 2v1, the smoke preventing the AWP from further getting any more chances back into that round. This time looks like they're going to set up again for early control of tunnels. No aggression from the CTs just yet. They've been playing the buddy system towards short time and again, but haven't really moved on the offense just yet. And Mighty, at least for the first half of the round have been given free reins every single time to take control of not just short end tunnels, but even mid to B for that matter, OG.
Exactly. Now again with the man towards B struck down, it's gonna be a B hit because that's in a good position, but he can't do anything about the push. This is just turning out to be one hell of a cage fight towards the B side. AllstaRRs just being beaten and bruised, while Mighty coming soaring sky high. Alpha trying to keep the op in his hands with his frag. Oh no, not like this. They know exactly where the op is as well. It's gonna be a hunt. Alpha giving the jig away. He knows that there could be one towards T-base, tries to land the shot. He's just being toyed with here. Alpha jumps down to his death. It's all on a blur towards pit. They're gonna come hunting for him. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to save his rifle, the nade, the frag. Oh no, he's just about enough to get the AUG into the next round, but still chained 9-4. Things will start to look pretty dire for AllstaRRs if this continues to be the trend.
There's not enough money to buy around that AUG, unfortunately. They're gonna put in a few nades. I'm guessing those are nades that will go towards long. And the Hank is in for a surprise.
Yeah, but now they have the information. They're just gonna commit towards B. It's all on a blur. Has the AUG utility still out in the hand of nade? Really would connect, but the aim is right there. Alpha. He grabs himself the AK. Not sure where he threw it away though. He has it on it because Alpha was the only playable here with armor, mind you. So he was the person who could do the most with the AK. Rather, now it's on Vikas to where it's CD spawn trying to save Cracker with the op. Harmful not gonna allow him to go down. SD try to remove the only rifle left on the board with AllstaRRs. Dastan in a position where he could do so. 10-4, Mighty hitting double digits, and this might just be a quicker ordeal than we predicted, Shade. Coming into this matchup, I believed both these lineups are gonna be toe-to-toe, but it might just be that mental composure, right, that they had headed into this game that they lost midway, which costed them the entirety of this game and their tournament lives, for the matter of fact.
Last round of the first half, and the buy comes in for AllstaRRs. They're able to muster up an AWP. They've lost a man early towards long. It's something that Mighty have been more than happy to challenge AllstaRRs time and again. Despite AllstaRRs coming in with the numbers, even 3 CTs in certain cases, but never really back down from a fight at A-long. Yields them another opener here for Mighty, and again we're back to that 2-2 split where the defense is spread so thin with barely any counter utility available when the push does come to shove. And looks like it's going to be a mid to B hit. Smoke completely takes Mangu out of play here, but Blur able to find a big one there. It's gonna set up for the rest of them to go charging in. Joy and Blur together though, getting the job done one by one. The tag team is running strong. AllstaRRs is able to close out the half on a high, but is it a question of too little too late, OG?
I feel like that's going to be the scenario, and the pistol round's going to dictate how this round's going to go, how this game's going to go, Shade. 10-5, AllstaRRs, they really desperately need the T-side pistol, or else it's going to be lights out for them, and Mighty sailing relatively cleanly to victory. Mighty, in fact, did lose the previous half pistol, so AllstaRRs, if they do win this pistol out, they still have a really good chance back in this game. Mighty strat that they've taken completely counters the setup that AllstaRRs have come in with, though. Harmful, trying to disengage, and now he's gonna be playing in through Ninja while ST tries to support from short. Couple of shots whisked through the smoke, but none connecting so far. There are 3 players to a shot, and Harmful is just buying his time towards Ninja. The wide swing comes in, they know a player is towards Goose, and the disengagement through long as well as its plan for Plateau. Now comes a retake effort. ST gonna be fronting this alongside Harmful while there's one man in the form of Mango to its elevator. So far, the crossfire held strong with this 2 versus 4 in play, as it's all that's on a hand. And AllstaRRs win the all-important pistol round. This is what they really desperately needed, Shade, and they've gotten it. They've gotten their chance back in this game. Mighty, though, now have to commit to what we consider an eco.
Yeah, the money is not looking great for Mighty after that pistol round loss, and they decide to go in for the eco. It's so hard to go for the force buy in a situation like this, because you force in and the gamble doesn't pay off. You're probably looking at a double eco after that OG, and that is all the lead down the drain for now. That's done.
Oh, the whiff. Yeah, he's vanished. Seed ends up getting 1 frag towards CD elevator, though. Still possible, Shade, but barely. They have them at 10. The only thing wrong here that AllstaRRs could do here is lose these rifles. They can't afford to lose more than 1, and it seems like they are successful in that fact. 7 to 10. AllstaRRs slowly building momentum and economy. We saw this in the first half where they did win the pistol and started being in the driver's seat until Vikas did get that disconnect. So let's hope that we get a similar start here to the second half without a similar story being set. Because AllstaRRs certainly have it in them to go toe-to-toe against Mighty, and they just proved it on the back of that pistol victory. Flash towards long. Cracker and the stun gonna be on the wide swing. This just obliterates the setup so far. If the stun would have swung wider, he could have gotten that refrag and set himself comfortably. But he just did it in the nick of time before the commitment did come in from AllstaRRs. The bomb being dropped. This is why you do not like the bomb to be the front man, right? We saw this in the game prior in Overpass, where the bomb was misplayed on a lot of different occasions, which allowed the CT side to get a lot of grounds covered. Right now, it seems like the similar problem plagues AllstaRRs. Mighty, so far, having a strong control here in the gun round. They are splitting up, though. They have Joy towards short while Vikas tries to work his luck towards long. So he comes in through the door, but the stun returns fire, and Joy position should be expected from Harmful. 11 to 7, Mighty dismantle the gun round coming in from AllstaRRs, which also cripples their money, because now if they invest, they'll be left with 2 players who will be low on both weaponry and utility. It seems like because he's gonna go for the AK but with less utility to speak of. Joy going in with the Deagle. Smoke and 2 flashes. The T side have no Molotov here, Shade, which is quite the concern for me, because a Molotov is so effective on Dust 2, especially to clear angles like R and Ninja. Sad, Dustan and Cracker just mow them down on the entry towards long. One of the only AKs they had on their arsenal retrieved by Mighty for the fact. And AllstaRRs, they just look again completely dead in the water, Shade. After that initial start, they've barely gotten anything to work with, and it's looking to be quite the one-sided affair.
Yeah, they got the 2 rounds, the pistol and the one thereafter. Pretty much the case with the start of the first half as well. They've got nothing to offer in these gun rounds, though. Mighty seeming to look a lot more comfortable, and taking that aggression towards long a couple of times with the C4 has hurt AllstaRRs quite a bit, OG. They can't afford to do that again in this entirety of the second half, or what remains of that, because Mighty are all but set here to close things off if that indeed is going to be the case. They're going to group up as two. Mangu has the AK, since he does have the armor backing it as well. They have the one smoke, no flashbangs. They're just going to have to peek humble and hope there's a trade in place. There's none whatsoever.
The spray. Brutal. 12-7, Mighty, 4 rounds away from potentially knocking AllstaRRs out. Now AllstaRRs in a position where they can't even invest. This is... If there's any tip you would like to give to AllstaRRs, what would that be, Shade? Because on paper, they seem dead even to Mighty, but in practice, it seems like Mighty have gotten far more in terms of experience and comfort. It might just be the map, but I sense there might be a little more to this.
The push through straight out of mid, and they're going to continue with the train. Hank going for the challenge is done a decent bit of damage onto everybody, but they're going to come in through the window and walk into the meat grinder.
Wow.
Quick round, Hank.
Just wow.
Good decision there to actually not stand and fight anymore. He does a bit of chip damage, falls back into position and just waits for the T's to move in through those chokes. Pretty much one of the reasons why a B retake is as hard as it is for the CTs. Once you have the side, it's so hard to find a way in without a ton of utility spent.
Numbers.
13-7, the buy comes in for AllstaRRs, but they've had the buy previously, but have not been able to make any inroads so far. Long this
They
time.
did get a man advantage though, so they have started off on the right foot. They have not contested long this time, but AllstaRRs have realized that they are floundering on their long hit. Perhaps getting the ship turned towards short was the right call to make, but it's still early days because Mighty will still be able to reply with this man disadvantage. Smokes being lined up, defensive utility still there on the belt of Mighty. In fact, it's that one Molotov that they have that they could potentially commit to with this hold. Every single man from AllstaRRs towards short except for Joy, and with the push through CT, this might just be the undoing of Mighty. A 3 versus 3 though, as they hold on to the numbers. The star not contested towards short will take complete leverage and peek through CT, but he's only good for the first. Harmful now in a 1 versus 2, but he's in close proximity to reply. The smoke will buy him a little bit of room to potentially come in and get this first frag on a blur and boil this to a 1 versus 1. He should anticipate a man towards car, and now it's the jig up. Flash in, Harmful on the peak. He doesn't score Joy just yet. The spray doesn't connect. Joy puts up an absolutely massive round for AllstaRRs, giving them a little bit of hope in this half, but Mighty have more than enough dough in the oven to squeeze out yet another buy, and it's a double op setup. Shade, would you reply to this kind of aggression in any other way? I think not.
I'm interested to see where these ops go though. A place that the AWP hasn't contested so far is mid as well as long. I think long by far has been the most contested part of the map so far. Early utility sends that he's calling back. They spent quite a bit of utility towards long, and I think they're going to continue pushing this. They set up Dastan in a hyper aggressive position towards long, and the rest of them are going to look to fall back. A push here is going to be unexpected here. Joy, does he see this? He does. Dastan jumps the trigger, and up at mid, the AWP does take a fall, and that has left Harmful in a very problematic situation, but the C4 is heading the other way.
This is being read though. ST in a position alongside the off from Cracker to try and blow a hole in the offense. ST, he gets two. Cracker chimes in with one. And this is a huge display from All-Star Shade. Mighty more than ready as the man through elevator hurt the setup towards short. Oh boy, the two-man advantage and also just throw it away. Mighty setting themselves up to deliver the final blow. 13, bound to be 14 rounds now on the CT side. Joy, he'll need to hit a stellar shot to try and deal with the Cracker, and the second time of asking delivers, and Mighty in touching distance of the victory here. All-Stars got to be feeling gutted after that loss, as they did throw away a round which they were massively favored to win.
And there's no money to invest into this, OG. $2,000 across the board. Do you buy in and not have anything to challenge in the final round, or do you save? Save is the call.
Wow.
It's a tough one to make, considering you're gonna have to down 7 match points unless there's a miracle this round. It should be a pretty easy hold here towards short. It is. Harmful with 2, Dastan with 2.
And the sneak in through long will not even work as Cracker. Satisfied. Ah, boy. You hate to see that, don't you? You have your eyes trained to one angle for like a good 20-30 seconds, and as soon as the peak comes in, you whiff. I've had that happen to me multiple times, and boy, does that hurt. Boy, does that feel bad. 15-8. Mighty on the verge of taking this past the finish line. All-Stars, they saved in. They made the difficult call. This is why they made it. This final buy is essentially the difference between them out of the tournament and them trying to fight the 7-round map point lead that Mighty have. All-Star, things are looking dire for them. And Control taken through up a tunnel's shade. This is madness.
And Mango is going to push in and have no idea this is happening. Oh, no.
Timing.
Yeah, the timing, absolutely critical. It does give them a ray of hope, though, into this.
Yeah, they could commit towards the A side. They know that there's a hyper-aggressive stance towards B. That means rotation is going to be delayed. Tank, he needs to provide here. He's blind as a bat. The peak comes, but he's not able to deliver. The flash touches the sky. He actually blinds his own teammate in the form of ST, but he still does deliver. Second time of asking. Nah, he doesn't land that shot. ST close to the proximity, but Joy coming in too long is going to be the man to look out for. The trades, they favor All-Stars, but Mighty are right back in the tail of All-Stars towards this long flank. Harmful. If he's fast enough, potentially could catch Joy off guard. But the flash, it actually ends up hitting him. Cracker, he blinds his own teammate. This is not the team play that we're coming in to expect from Mighty Shade.
1v2. Cracker with the AWP. I think he's going to switch on over to the AK here. If he doesn't get an instant frag, the peek out. He's expecting the T to play passive, and the miss on the flick keeps All-Stars alive and kicking for now. But they've got a lot to do if they are to stay in this matchup. 6 more match points for Mighty. And they have the money enough to buy into this, OG. They go back to the double up setup. They want to close this right here, right now.
They absolutely do, Shade. 15-9. All-Stars. They have to try and dismantle this double op setup yet again, posted in by Almighty. But if they do, Shade, the economy is going to be dead broke for Mighty, so they stand a chance to actually try and post this comeback. But obviously, the odds add into that tension, because it's certainly stacked against them, right? They know it as well that they are not favored to win this right now. It's going to require the mentality of a champion to try and keep their fortitude in this game and in it for the victory. Mighty focused into its mid. the short hit hasn't been panning for them all that much, just due to the fact that ST has been getting a chip off towards their forces at short. Instant smoke. Ooh! Damn! See, that hurt, and that hurt a lot. Cracker, perhaps he's trying his hand at the AWP. Picks it up with good effect. No, wait, did he land a collateral? Oh boy! The 2 versus 3 now. He stepped up. Certainly didn't style. Harmful. Coming in at CD at the perfect moment, but just a second late for the deny. Support coming in too short. Hank missing a crucial shot with the AWP, leaving Vikas with a 1 versus 3. The stun again, blinding his teammate. The utility really iffy from Mighty, but it's enough to secure them this game. 16-9. But of course, Shade, there's a lot where both Mighty and AllstaRRs can work upon. This has been one hell of a game, though. A little bitter at the end here, there for AllstaRRs, as that one disconnect at the start really cost them the early momentum and the charisma that they came in with the pistol victory.
Yeah, as AllstaRRs starting off 3-0 at the beginning, and it was a couple of awesome plays towards that B side from Joy as well, that we got to see 8-0 and 0 in the first 3 rounds, but that one frag missed gives Mighty the first round, and then the disconnect of one of the players, loss of certain momentum. He did join in a little bit later when the score was 5-3 in favor of Mighty, but they never really looked back at that after that. And AllstaRRs, pretty unfortunate, couldn't find a footing in the second half either. Mighty really strong CT side showing as well, contesting long time and again, and unfortunately AllstaRRs didn't really re-strategize, instead try to hit Mighty with the same punches again and again. But yeah, Mighty, their CT side was far more stellar than their counterparts, and rightfully so. Move on to the round of 32 here in the Dell Futurist presents Alienware LevelUp Challenge. Thank you so much for all the viewers who tuned in. We will see you folks again tomorrow with more matches. But for now, this is Shade Slayer and OG signing off. Bye-bye.